Hey everyone, it's Desiree and welcome back. Today we have a hop. Let's have fun celebrating a hop. And this is for Scrappy Tails Crafts and Sabrina's new release Christmas Party. Now, unfortunately, this will be her last for this year. Very upsetting, but more to come for 2024, I'm sure. Today's project is going to feature the A7 Winter Scene cover plate die, and I'm going to pull a sentiment from one of her stamp sets for this card. We're going to have fun paper piecing with solid cardstock and building our scene that way. Now make sure you stay till the end because with all hops, there's always surprises and fun, and I will discuss it then. I'm going to start with the sentiment first. I pulled a piece of black cardstock, and I'm using my anti-static tool, and I'm going to use my clear ink, and we're going to stamp that just a couple times. I love the font on this sentiment, and I'm grabbing my card. Here we go. Sorry about that. And it says, "Have a magical Christmas." So when I saw that sentiment, I saw glitter. I don't know why, but I saw glitter. I'm first stamping this and then heat embossing with gold metallic powder. Once I know that's set, I'm going to come in. One of the things, and if you noticed, I did not move my sentiment from my stamp positioner. This is when a stamp positioner for me really comes in handy. And one of the embossing powders that I have is a clear gold glitter. So if you stamp with it and you heat emboss, you just see these glitter flakes, but it's not solid. So by putting this over my gold metallic, I get a gold glitter embossing powder. There's no sense to buy a solid one. I can just mix the two together. I pulled out the die and pulled out my little honeybee die cutter there. I'm loving that thing. So convenient. Yes, so convenient. I'm going to set that aside. Our sentiment is done. Yes, that was the process. Now what I'm going to do, this is going to be a 5x7 card. Now the beauty of the A7 cover plate is it's not fully going to cover the front of a 5x7 card base. So that's the beauty of that. I have two sheets here of gold glitter cardstock. And I know you're saying, why aren't you cutting out the center to save it? No, I want the entire back to be covered because we're going to have some cutouts with the plate. So the first sheet had a full set there, just trimmed it down on one side, and then I'm just using a piece of scrap to fill in the bottom. The seam will not be noticed at all. Here's the cover plate when it's die cut. So you can see the snowflakes come out. You have these circles that can represent snow or other snowflakes. And you just have these indentations of the scene. And I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to first cut out the center oval. And I'm just going to snip where the paper is connected to each other. And hopefully remembering what not to cut away. Because there's a small piece down below that oval. You can see with the two holes coming through. That's part of the night sky as well. So made sure I kept those there. Which, you know, miracles can happen. I'm going to glue down this panel. When you have those cutouts that she's got, these areas, and they're just held on by small areas of the cardstock, it weakens the panel. I want to keep this strong. I'm going to be applying a lot of different layers, mediums, and so forth. So trying to pick that up and move it, I know I would tear it. I grabbed one of my large acrylic blocks just to put pressure down on that with the liquid adhesive to get down into that glue to stay there. Gluing on glitter cardstock is like my demise. Mainly because I'm impatient. Let's keep it real. Yeah. I'm going to work on the mountain caps first. So I've die cut these multiple times from white scrap cardstock. And then the final layer on top is from, yes, another glitter cardstock. And it's like an iridescent glitter cardstock. I want these to have dimension on top of those mountains. Now, I'm not doing anything bright except for the gold glitter and the background. And even then, I used Uncharted Mariner to go around those edges just to tone down that light blue just a little bit. I did choose a light blue for the base because I wanted a halo effect coming from that oval. The hillsides that are around the trees and below the mountains are going to be, as you can see, in this dark blue. Just cutting away the trees and making sure I have that curve for the mountainside. Now, I'm also not too worried if there's still parts of the trees behind. Again, I'm going to be building up in those areas, but I want to make sure that I have that base form for the hillside. I'm just going to add a little bit of Uncharted Mariner to that, again, to represent the glow coming from the glitter and the snow falling. It's very unnoticeable, but it made me happy to put that there. Just saying. Now, what I should have done, again, I always like to say what I should have done to make the process easier, because I always like to make it more difficult, because that's what I do, is not cut this gray background up. I should have just taken this entire piece of gray and placed it down after I cut out the oval section. It would have just laid right on top of it. Then I could have placed the blue up on top. I did not. So I did have to mirror the cuts that I did for the blue. I actually did it. I was pretty impressed with myself. It was a good day. And if it didn't, no worries. Again, there's always a way to cover it up. And you'll see just how I was going to do that anyway. Yes. Placing down the gray is the mountains that we're going to use for our scene. And again, just cutting along those lines as I did before to place these into place. And you can see I'm like, well, can I just put the gray back down? And no. So we're going to take each of the pieces and set them in place. If you do this technique, start your layers from the bottom and keep coming up. What that's going to do is add more dimension to your card. And that's what I really wanted for this. Lots of dimension, lots of colors. No, they're not bright, but it's building that scene. You can see I'm putting the trees back because I want it as level as possible when I add all of my tree layers. Once I have the mountains in and now I have the hillside in and set, we're going to put the mountaintops in place. Because I have so many layers, I'm not worried about that we have that difference in layer between the blue and the gray. We're just going to apply it. It's not going to show, it's not going to cause a ripple. But you can see things are starting to come to life as we add these different layers. For the trees, I chose a dark evergreen cardstock and a green mirror cardstock and a green glitter cardstock. Again, just pulling in all of these magical colors that are just, to me, going with the sentiment. Two of the trees are together. I am choosing to cut them apart to get the mirror tree in place. I wanted one of these trees to be the glitter, and I wanted the other one to be the mirror. And then the single tree off to the side will be the dark evergreen to the right. Again, I have multiple layers that I'm going to layer up for these trees, adding more dimension. And yes, as you add more dimension to your card, yes, you are adding postage. Could you just keep this one layer? For the most part, you could. You don't have to die cut as many times as I did. You could just have the one layer of the glitter for the mountains and the one layer for the mountains themselves and the hillside. Absolutely. You could definitely do that. I just love dimension. I brought in a gold gel pen to color in for the tree trunks, keeping in line with that gold and just pulling that in. Placing our trees in place. And now they are set as well. Just going to hold that there just for a little bit. Make sure that the liquid glue grabs on. Now the single tree, the one that sits to the right, I did use that for the center of the oval that I cut out of black cardstock. And it was a smaller piece. I am propping this up with double-sided foam squares, and we're going to set this in the center. And when you do, you're going to have this border of the gold glitter and the gold glitter coming through the tree. The sentiment is going to sit across from that. So I'm going to make sure that I put a double-sided foam square right in the center there and a little bit of glue on each side and also on the double-sided foam square, again, to get into that glitter, to get everything to hold. The trees are missing something for me. So as I'm putting my panel onto my 5x7 card base, they were just missing something for me. What I pulled in is some texture paste to add just a little bit of snow on the trees. Again, we've got some beautiful snowflakes coming up on there, falling down. So I wanted to add that to the tree. Let me give you a clue and a hint and a huge tip. Always make sure you read the bottle of paste that you're using. You want to make sure that it is opaque. This looks gorgeous, and I was loving it. I'm like, yes, this is just adding this touch. The paste that I chose, however, was the Sparkle from Tim Holtz. It dries clear. It's a clear glitter. Only me. But again, we keep going. So envision this look. Take a picture of it. Just make sure you could use white gesso. That is opaque. You could use a white opaque modeling paste. This is what you're looking for. What I did though, after it dried and I realized that this was happening, I went over these same areas with the snow grit. But even that is a little translucent, so I have like gray areas. So, and you'll see that in the photos. So I'm eventually going to use my white gesso or white acrylic paint. I know they are opaque, and I'm just going to add some flecks of white onto them just to finish it because this looked awesome. Fell in love with it. I thought it really made the scene pop. Just added that little bit of white, you know, onto the card to really make those trees and hillsides pop. So read the bottles. Keep an eye on your stash of what you have. Yeah, I'm watching this and I'm just shaking my head back and forth, guys. me to laugh like this. But you know what? We got to have fun. Because remember what we all say. Enjoy the process. And here it is. You can tell it's not dry yet. I am not realize what's about to happen. But I truly do love this card and just had fun paper piecing solid cardstocks to build your scene in no time. And here come the pictures, and you can see it's like a slush. It's a slush. The sun has come out and the snow is melting. I do hope you enjoyed today's project. And hey, this is an Instagram hop, so make sure you check down below. Next up for me is Sylvia. Please go check out her beautiful card that she has designed. Now, as always, with our hops, Sabrina is so generous. She, wants to see what you create, and she is also giving away two 25 store gift cards. So make sure you comment along in the Instagram posts, and you have until October 20th to get your comment in there, and you will be entered to win one of these 25 store gift cards. The winner will be announced on the Scrappy Tails Instagram page right around the 21st. So keep an eye out after the 20th for the announcement, and good luck to everybody. So make sure you comment, make sure you hop along and see everyone's designs. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and hit that thumbs up, and make sure you ring the bell so you're notified. Hopefully YouTube will do that. Enjoy the process. Have fun like I did. Read your jars. But most of all, enjoy the art that you are creating, because that is what you're doing. And remember what's most important for me. Just always be creative in everything you do. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then, guys, take care.